Now, the former ruling Alliance for Patriotic Reorientation and Construction, APRC's deputy spokesperson, Duduja, says they are not surprised on the verdict delivered by the High Court's Judge Ibrahim Jaite against the former junta member Yankuba Touré. Judge stated that the former Minister of Justice Abubakar Tambedu had threatened to teach Yankuba Touré a lesson and throw the books at him, saying they believe the judge was not impartial. Binta Jallo has the rest of that in the story.
In an interview with Aprc TV, APRC's deputy spokesperson and director of communication, Duduja, stated that the Alliance Patriotic Reorientation and Construction Party is not amazed with the outcome of the judgment of former junta member Yankuba Touré. He said, when Yankuba Touré refused to testify at the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, the former Justice Minister Abubakar Tambedu threatened to teach him a lesson and threw the books at him. He said Yankuba was charged for contempt, but the case was thrown out of court. But they still went ahead to charge him for the murder of the former finance minister Usman Koro Sise. According to him, these are instances that they saw personality coming in play, saying the fact that one of the witnesses testified that they perpetrated the act, but he was not sentenced. Duduja says he is wondering how the judge come to conclusion, considering that he said one of the witnesses cried during his testimony and those were not crocodile tears.
This part was Kanye, as number one principal witness, said they did it. Him, Kanye, Edward, Peter, Tumbul. He made and give a list of people who were part and parcel of those who killed Koro. He did not say, no, we didn't do anything, Yankuba killed him. He said, we all partake in killing Koro Sise. So, passing a judgment and said he was guilty of murder, he will be hanged. And the judge, when he was reading the verdict, he said, Kanye cried when he was testifying, and those were no crocodile tears. How do you know that it was not crocodile tears? Which means you already have, a preconceived mind of what was going to happen.
Jia said the verdict that the judge was reading was not written by him. Thus, he was struggling to read, saying there was something personal between the judge and Yankuba Touré.
That verdict the judge read, was it written by him? He was struggling to read. It's either he didn't write it or he has problem when it comes to reading. Again, it questions about competency. But there's something personal between the judge himself and Yankuba Touré. And it's evident, it's been shared in social media. That's why people need to be careful what you say, what you write, and what you do. We're living in a world of technology. During the struggle, his stance from 2017, the post he was writing, what he said against the APRC, the people of Fonyi, Kanilai, etc., it has been shared. He was invited at the TRRC. What he said and the things he mentioned about the former government, the people he believed they were enablers to Jammeh, etc., it is well heard.
Duduja also described the judgment as one-sided, arguing that the judge has some scores to settle, considering he was in the system, but later flee out of the country due to reasons best known to him. He said the judge was angry, but the Green Party has trust in the country's justice system, and every death sentence has to be signed by the president, and they believe that President Barrow do not have such heart to endorse its implementation. The High Court in Banjul sentenced former AFPRC junta member Yankuba Touré to death by hanging. Yankuba Touré was found guilty for the murder of then AFPRC Transitional Finance Minister Usman Koro Sise in 1995. For Aprc News, Binta Jallo.